pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead and look at them and then we'll get you some copies.
Jim, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time that you have called us together. We ask that you walk with us and help us discern our language and our talk as we have been called to serve the people of your community. We ask that you be with us and keep us in your peace and in your love. In your name we pray. Amen.
Roll call.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yep.
Stan,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Do you have any discussion or need a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
One of each, aren't you?
I'll second it.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Stan,
I abstain. I wasn't here.
Steve,
Abstain.
Scott,
Yes. Okay, financial report, Scott.
Let me dig it out here. Okay, we got the bank reconciliation, for the month of, January. We have a total adjusted bank balance as of 1/31/2017. So we have $1,651,111.24. Just so everybody can understand. And with payment listing, we spent roughly $52,045.57 for January. It looks like revenue status to the final budget, we're about 6%, 5.47%. For Fund 1000, and we have about 10% for Fund 2011, and about 9% for Fund 2021. And then we're about 1.5% for Fund 2041. And for Fund 2901, we haven't received anything yet to date. Fund 5101, which is water operating, we got about 6.7%. Sewer operating fund, which is account 5201, we have 8.43%. Sewer Pacific capital improvement fund, we have, which is account number 5701, we have 0% so far, and sewer debt bond, we're about 8.3%, which is account number 5721. And then, let's see, account 5741, we got 0% so far. And then the Funkhauser interest, we got 0%, and Ryan Scholarship, we got 0% for the year.
Okay, anybody got any questions on that? If not, we'll need a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Steve,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Stan,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Have any special guests? Public comment? Anybody for public comment? Okay, go on to reports. Committees, finance, budget, and audit, Scott, you
Just did that.
just did that one. So police, Brandon?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Fire, Mike?
There's 3 different things.
Oh, boy.
I'm just getting started, general secretary. 12 calls for the year so far.
If you see in there, obviously the fire levy's up at the end of 2017, so I already talked to Scott a little bit about it, we'd like to get that started and figure out what we're gonna do.
See what our options gonna be, so we
Yeah.
can figure out how we word it, how we present it. Because I guess we have some options, right? So we can do the four-year renewal, or we can do it, try to do a continuous thing or something like that, so if they wanna do any long-term capital investments, we need to figure out our strategy, how we wanna try to do that.
My question is, I think the paper I have, it says fire and EMS, and I kinda asked Gary and I and John were talking about it earlier. They said it has to say EMS on there, I don't understand.
It's because they changed the statute to say fire and EMS. So we have to mirror the language of the statute.
So what about, like, the EMS, Liberty Township, Bettsville, and whatever, just go on just strictly on EMS levy, right?
Yeah, that's strictly EMS only.
But why is, I'm just, I mean, we're separate
Because
entities.
because the legislature changed the statute to say fire and EMS. And if you don't mirror the exact language of the statute, the state's gonna kick it back. It goes to the Board of Elections after it runs through the auditor's office, and then they send it down to Columbus. And the Secretary of State's office will kick it back, and then you have no levy.
Right, but what
So
I
you
guess
have
I'm
to
getting at
follow,
though is,
I know it makes no sense,
why does
but if
EMS
you
have their
do-
own separate one, we have to have EMS and fire on ours?
it's the language of the statute.
Because what I'm worried
says
about
that.
now is, they already passed a levy for the EMS for to pay their employees. Well, they're gonna see this levy for the fire and EMS, and they're not gonna wanna pass that levy for the fire because they're already paying a levy on the EMS, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
well,
was
I
my
mean, that's,
concern.
that, we'll just have to explain I mean, we should have a public meeting or something, you know,
I think
So that's,
and I think that
That's
would
what
be
I'm
the
worried
best,
about,
get
you
with
know
the
what I mean?
school and get everybody on the same page that it's not a double whammy on the.
right, that's what I don't want, I don't,
So,
you know, I
yeah,
want
no.
people to think they're paying twice and they're
Right.
not passed.
Yeah,
Well, I think what we need to do is have Rick give us the statute so we understand what, I mean, so once you written word, the statute, so we understand how it's gotta be worded, so what.
Well, I worded it off the statute the last
Right.
time, that's directly from the Ohio Revised Code. It has to mirror, I'm a broken record, it has to mirror the
That's
Ohio
fine,
Revised
I
Code.
Yeah.
We don't have a
it.
choice.
I guess that's what I'm saying, is I don't have nothing that says, I got a piece of paper that says, we're at whatever millage, and that's all it says, it doesn't say, it says when to file and everything else, it doesn't say what's the grant, or what's the levy say, I don't know anything about it, that's why I'm asking
yeah.
what we need to do to
Yeah.
get this,
Yeah,
you know, we only have till August.
Yeah, so I think we just start.
Well, yeah, we'll get it
File.
started.
If
You know
it's,
what I mean?
the difference is if it's a renewal, then people are more likely to pass. If you do something addition, then it's gonna say an additional. And that's
So
less
that's
likely
what
to
Scott was
pass.
getting at, we gotta figure out what we're gonna,
Yeah, how we do
that's
it,
what I was
so.
asking Scott, what are we gonna do, where are we gonna go?
And I think you're right, I mean, people don't, I mean, if the renewal, they'll go for it, but if you try to do something additional, that's gonna, you're gonna have some pushback, probably gonna have a challenge, so we need to figure out how we present it, and, you know, make sure we got it correctly done, so.
Just be nice to have something for the future, I guess is what I was
Yeah.
trying to plan for, you know what I mean, so we can buy.
Well, and understand there are two resolutions that are passed. There's one, and then there's a second resolution after the first. It's a process. It's not something that's done in
Well, that's
just
why I
one
said,
meeting.
we
Right,
only
that's what I'm
meet
saying.
once a month, so that's why I'm trying to get the ball going now, so we're not waiting until, here it comes August, then we can't file for it for the year.
Right.
We get to have it in August in order to have it on the
On the ballot, yes.
November 7th ballot.
This is for the levy in 2018.
Correct,
Okay.
yes. They'll vote on it in,
You wanna do it
November.
during either a primary or the general election because it saves money. Otherwise, it costs
Yeah, I think
more
it's what-
money.
John told me it would cost us money if we would've put it in the May one, but
Well,
we
it's gonna
can't.
cost you money.
Right, I mean, we have no, I mean, we have it up, I mean, you have no other option,
Well, you-
right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I was just asking, you know what I mean, we don't know.
Well, I think we start the process, but I think, I mean, like Rick says, we're mirror the statute like we gotta do, which
Right,
makes sense.
right, yep.
And then we just,
Yep.
I mean, I think we look at the renewal thing and go that way, but we, at least we know that we should be able to pass that
I
one.
mean, yeah.
And then
I
we
mean, it
need to,
should be-
then we need to have a
we can use
discussion,
this-
a long-term, how we're gonna finance a truck or any kind of improvements we need to do, or how we're gonna do that, so.
Yeah, 'cause
I guess that's the main.
if we're gonna do the
orders.
renewal and that, or we'll just take the same language what we had.
I mean,
It'll
it's
be fairly easy.
I think maybe we do
But
it
if
that way.
there's
it's a renewal, what we vote on it every
4 years.
4 years,
I don't remember here, but it
I think it's.
sounds about right. But
It's 4 or 5 years.
So maybe we approach it that way then.
Right, okay.
we approach it that way, and then we need to talk about maybe as a town, how we think about long-term investments, because that might have to take a bond or something, you might have to buy a fire truck or something, because I mean, those are expensive, you know, so, I mean, that's not something we go for,
We
we never
got
fund,
3 of
so.
them that need to be. And I hope to have, and hopefully when Scott comes to our meeting, I hope to have, our plan is to eventually be down to 4 trucks, that's 5.
Yeah,
So, which, we're gonna get rid of the ladder truck is what we're gonna shoot for, so.
That's a selling point.
Pardon?
That's a selling point.
yeah,
Well, I did the figures already, we're just throwing money out there for the ladder truck.
That's the reason why it's a selling.
I mean, I've got the figures and it's just not,
well, that's what we talk about, I think we maybe do
To me,
it
anyway, I
different ways,
think
maybe we
that's how I
do
look
the
at it.
renewal, we approach it that way, and that way we can, we'll have the steady, try to get the steady income coming in like we've had, to support the fire truck, and then we talk about a bond issue for
something,
capital
right?
improvements for a truck or whatever we decide to do, so we need to come up, figure out what you guys really wanna do, what you guys really need for your,
And we've kinda
organization.
got that down, we don't have it on paper yet.
Because I know the other issue you got floating out there, not only just the truck, you got the issue with like fire suits and stuff, for your guys, those are all pretty expensive, and you said those are all due for replacement too.
I've got 3 guys in class now I gotta buy gear for, and there's possibly 2 or 3 sets I need replaced this year.
So we need to figure out how to do that, so that's kind of an issue, so.
Right, the brainstorm.
But we start talking about
We
now.
are going to, I think next year, or the year after, Jackson Townships, that's their fire levies up too. We're gonna approach them, and I'm gonna approach Liberty and try to get more funding from them to pay for, you know, the rising cost in gear, the rising cost in equipment.
Oh, well, we need to brainstorm is getting that out in front of the
From us,
residents so they know what we're doing long
Right.
before the.
Right,
vote, so
exactly.
They already know that we're doing our part
Mhm.
to.
And that's kinda when I'm putting a letter together or something for this levy, so they know what vehicles we're getting rid of to replace.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think we approach it 2 different ways, I think sometimes, I don't think it's a good idea to put them all together, because I think that's gonna be a hard selling point.
No,
I think we
no,
need to keep that separate, so we can
no.
have at least an opportunity to try to keep the status where we're at as far as funding.
Just understand, any resources for this levy aren't from the village or the government whatsoever.
Resources as in,
You don't photocopy things off of
oh, okay.
photocopiers here, use paper, nothing like that from the government. That's totally independent of the government.
Which is fine, we got the association for
Yeah. I just wanted to make
Right,
sure.
I understand what you're saying, yep.
So we can go into more deeper discussion.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's- I
okay,
think
that's
kind of
fine.
general
and
consensus.
if we have to have another meeting and.
Yeah, I just don't wanna
do it in
wait
1
till-
month, It don't matter.
I know we talked
We
before,
get it
you
done.
know, you only meet every month, and it's kinda hard to get things.
Well, I think we need to put this on the public for a couple of months, so they understand what's going on, get
Right.
out there, you know. So I think we start putting education, information out there.
Then you can see the village, the warning siren. The other relay went out on it, that's why you didn't hear the test Saturday. He already called Johnny, and they've got a relay at the public safety building. John, that price he gave you, I don't think is right, so that's gonna be cheaper. That's what he, huh?
Better yet.
That's what he told me. The engine 61's repaired. I gave you guys all a copy. Be about $13,000. That's for a complete rebuild. What they do is they drop that pump completely out of the center of that truck, split the axles, take it out, tear it all apart. That's replacing everything in that pump except for the housing or the manifold. If they figure, once they get tore apart, if it needs replacing, it's gonna be an extra cost, but the guy that was out and that Tom guy that's on that paper feel that housing does not have to be done, so.
How old is that truck?
The 97, but that's our Class A pumper right now. It's the newest truck, the best truck we got sitting on the bay right now, besides the crash truck.
It's 20 years old.
And that's why, with the levy, that's why we need to buy a new, to keep our ISO rating, you need to have a Class A pumper. That's less than 10 years, or 20 years old, so.
Well, the issue comes down to we can't afford to buy a new pumper right now, so our only real option is to fix what we got, so it's functional, right?
Yeah, we don't have any other option other than.
And that's what Gary and I kinda talked about, but I'll bring it to you guys, so. I didn't wanna make that decision, and I didn't wanna have to just put on Gary's shoulder for him to make that decision either. The next question is, I already know where it comes from, but that's where that, I didn't hear back, you didn't hear back from Julie?
I did not. I'll
Okay.
call her back in the morning.
We're trying to figure out, John and I kicked around earlier, I called Joe Warland, to see if we could run through our insurance. He hasn't got back with me yet today, so, like John and I said, I'd rather have it with our insurance, it's only $500 compared to 13,000, but we'll see if the insurance will cover it. Joe made it sound probably unlikely.
I don't think so, but that's just normal service, I
Right,
can't see that's, it's not
exactly.
damage from.
But you know what? It's only a phone call, I thought he could try.
I can't do no more, say
Right,
no.
right.
No.
You know, and then, we're gonna see if we can actually get it from, the special levy money, and I don't think we can, since it's I think in there it's worded, I think, that you can only use it for new equipment, I believe.
Well, it is kinda new equipment.
Well, I know.
Be a new pump when it's done.
So John called Julia Atkins and see if she.
We're getting a reading
Yeah,
from
so, but if not, it comes out of the fire budget, right?
that. Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna have to make a motion to move forward to get this repaired, aren't we?
Yeah, let's make a motion,
I'll make-
12,516.18.
Okay, I make a motion for the repair for the Class A pumper for the amount of $12,516.18. Move forward to get that repaired, and then get scheduled to get done, so.
I just need, 2 signatures.
I'll probably
Wants to
Gary,
sign
right?
it, But I didn't read the fine print, so somebody else can.
They didn't ask
You wanna sign
Lance
it?
and
You wanna-
Buildings.
Yeah,
I can't believe you guys didn't ask Lance and Buildings for some money.
well.
We're not there yet.
Yes.
Hey, John already had our private meeting, we're not at that part.
Aren't you?
It's
Scott?
coming.
I'm doing the motion.
Oh, okay,
Scott?
Okay,
yeah.
Rob?
Yes.
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Stan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And who's that to? Class 8?
WW.
Williams Toledo.
I'll get you a thing of that. I didn't get one.
You probably need a PO before they'll.
Yeah, I mean, Tom didn't say, but
Yeah, I'll get you a PO before we can start the project, and then we need a timing. So it's gonna be out, that's gonna be out of commission for 2 weeks or whatever.
it's already out of commission now, really.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, it can only transport people right now. I mean, you know, we're praying and hoping nothing happens, but if it does, you know what I mean?
Well, this will be resolved fast.
About
so
2
it's not-
weeks roughly is what.
Because you gotta remember, you know,
Tom told me.
we're getting paid for contract service, so we gotta be able to, you know.
So everybody knows there still is 2 other pumpers sitting out
Yes,
there.
there's still
Yeah,
2
I
other
understand
pumpers
that.
that,
Well,
I
I
understand
just wanna
that,
make
but-
sure everybody understands.
we still have protection, yes. And then 2 other pumps are just as capable as pumping as the other one. So. And then did you have anything with that guy that you were gonna call for his pager and stuff? I was wondering, you didn't call me, so I kinda figured you might have slipped your mind or something.
I wanna talk diplomatically. Let's talk after the
Okay,
meeting.
that's fine. Yep, that'll work. I think that's all I had, I guess.
this is not wrong.
I hate to be the person of bad news, but I mean,
Well,
Reality.
gotta be done.
Quit doing it then.
Yeah.
Quit breaking this stuff.
trying to improve.
That's good.
You want that?
Okay, clean up, Joyce.
I don't have anything to say.
That was actually Scott.
Did the other one get it? cleaned
Yeah,
up?
yeah, looks really good. Yeah.
Oh, you got it right?
These are all the same.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Were they,
Yeah, they had a big dump truck in there. So I've been sitting on the lot.
well, they were throwing some out in the backyard and it was ending up in the creek and going down the river.
Okay.
Okay, done that. You know,
John, Water Sewer Street?
Nothing for cleanup?
No, she said nothing for cleanup.
Okay.
Okay, street, we'll start with that. Dump truck is here, everything's super, got salt spreader mounted on it. I've only drove it a little bit, but, everything seems great on it. The old dump truck, it's up to you guys whether you wanna do a sealed bid with a reserve on it and advertise, or if you wanna do gov deals. Whether you pay for the advertisement doing the sealed bids in a couple newspapers or not, you're still gonna end up paying a percentage to gov deals to sell it on their site. Not real sure what the percentage is, I'll have to make some phone calls and find out for certain, but, That's up to you guys, however you wanna do that.
Do you think that the sealed bid deal would be okay to,
If we advertised,
yeah,
I mean, you're looking at a couple $100 in each newspaper, so you're probably gonna have $400 in advertising. But.
How much are you asking for the truck?
Well, that's what we're gonna talk
Well,
about.
we gotta discuss
Well, I mean,
that too,
our-
but I'm saying whether you spend the $400 on advertisement to sell it or spend the percentage on gov deals, you're still gonna spend money to sell it regardless. I'm just not sure on what that percentage
But
is.
is it worth anything? Is it worth the $400?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
you know, we ain't gonna clear it.
I'd say you're probably around the $4,000 to $5,000 range.
Yeah. That's where I would think it'd be at. I mean, let me mark it for the year and some of the issues it's got with it. But we're probably better off trying to do that. I mean, what we could do is we could set the reserve on the thing and try selling it that way. And if we don't, then we can always go with the government, so, you know, maybe do it that way. If we don't get what your minimum bid is or whatever. So, it's a gamble either way you go. I mean,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
either way.
so I'm not
But-
sure,
but
if
it's
some
coming
government
with-
thing.
it's
can you
coming with the
reserve
plow
it
and
or not?
everything.
Yes, you can. It's just like eBay, but it's for government, things. It's got dump trucks, backhoes. We sold a
Try
fire
selling-
truck on there over at our other department.
You ever try selling it through the HGR?
Well, I don't know, I know, but they probably won't give you too much, because I've sold a lot of equipment to them
Yeah,
already.
you
But, I
sold
mean,
a lot
they're,
of
they're buying it
back
for
end
pennies on the dollar,
equipment.
so.
But they don't charge you any.
No, they'll give you,
They come out, they give you an estimate, and they give you a flat fee.
yeah.
So that's just like someone purchasing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a industrial surplus.
Right. I don't, Rick would know more about that than I would, but I'm
Well,
not
look at
sure.
Gov deals?
No.
I,
The
do we
southern-
have a resolution for gov deals in this village, doing business with them? Because usually there's a resolution that goes along with that.
Haven't gotten that far yet. Did not know.
Then I'll do a resolution for them, and I can bring it the next meeting. It doesn't mean we have to use it for the truck, but if you wanna sell knickknacks around here, you can.
Nick. But yeah, it probably
put
would, it
anything
probably
on it.
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put office chairs on there. You could have
Right,
anything
that's
on there.
right.
And usually part of that though is you always wanna make sure they pick it up and it's as is. I mean, that's why things go for less on it then.
Right, right.
And people are, so,
So the old truck does have a plow on it, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it will have a
Okay.
salt spreader in it too.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the old hopper spreader back in it.
Are we using salt or slurry?
I don't even know what slurry is.
You don't?
I
Brine?
thought slurry is what
Well,
they
it's
use
the
to make
same,
moonshine.
yeah, well, that too, but that's brine where they do, you know,
No,
spray those.
we don't have that.
Okay.
Spring treat or something. What's everybody think? Which way you wanna approach it? Or do you wanna do a
Yeah, so which
sealed
way?
bid with a?
I think that'd be the route.
Sealed
Sealed
bid.
bid.
You're
Just
gonna
start.
advertise and then look for sealed
That's
bid?
what we're talking
Okay.
about right now, yes.
Now, what would you like your, minimum to be?
I wouldn't even begin to guess.
Well, I don't think I'd take any less than 4,000 for it, because I think it's worth that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think
I
there's
can't
value,
remember
there's
the
value
last
to
time I
it.
bought a dump truck, so.
Well, you know, it does have a few little quirks.
Yeah, it needs work, but there's still value there. I don't want to
Right.
give it away.
I mean,
I mean, it's
the
more
pl-
valuable than a fire truck, let's put it that
Where are you
way.
gonna leave?
The
room
plow
for
alone's
dick
worth
ring?
$2,500, so,
Yeah.
you know, the truck's gotta be worth something.
Yeah. What year was that?
It's an old one.
Yeah, see,
It's got, 120,000
Yeah,
miles.
so-
on
Oh,
it.
it's a baby.
yeah, so the 1-ton truck I bought, you know, that I have.
And it's a
back
diesel
was like,
too,
I paid
so-
$1,500 for it, so, you know, I do some work to that as well, but. So there's value there to it.
How old's the salt spreader it's on that?
That's that hopper spreader that they were surprised I got it to last more than a year, and it's about 10 years old.
So we'd throw that in if we
Yeah.
get strike price.
But it's still
It's
does
just-
sell.
Well,
Yeah.
right,
Salt spreader.
it still works.
Ah, there you
I
go.
mean, it's,
Well, there's people-
it's rough, but it still
There's
works.
some people buy that, so there's value there.
It would be fine for somebody who was just salting parking lots, who, it wasn't a disaster for a whole town if it stopped working, you know?
They went last year, ours went out over there, and all hell broke loose till they got one in there.
For the parking lot, people were bitching, I'm sure.
Oh, well.
Only takes one person.
Your
Yeah.
new truck, John, also
One
have a new
accident's
plow put on
$100,000
it?
Yes,
plus.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that-
So we have to
They
make a
grab
motion
those
on this
things.
or whatever?
Pardon?
Do we have to make a motion on this or?
I suppose we probably just,
Probably what we
let's make a motion to, for minimum bid.
So, yeah.
run an ad
sealed
in the
bid,
newspaper with a minimum of 4,000.
Yeah, reserve bid, 4,000.
You want that declared?
I'm sorry.
You want 4,000 declared?
No, we're not taking,
Well,
well, at
we're
least
not
they know
gonna
we're
take
not
less
taking
than-
anything less than
Well, I mean,
4,000.
you want
Yeah,
that
a minimum
set.
bid, I think is what we put on there for right now, so.
I don't know if you wanna put that in there though, the
Yeah.
amount.
Well, that's
They
what
just
we're
say
talking
we
about.
have a
Just
reserve.
that we have a reserve on it.
Yeah, that's what-
Yeah, let's probably
It is
just do
what
it
it
that
is.
way then, let's put it, you
There
know,
is a reserve
We're
on
gonna
it.
tell them what it is. They'll make it, they'll make it.
I don't see anything wrong
I
with
mean, that's kinda what we do with
4,000.
backhoe, right? I mean, we did it at that time, right? So let's try to do the same thing,
Well, yes.
right?
yes.
So let's
The
just.
first round didn't bring in a bid high enough because we didn't tell anybody what the reserve was. Then the second round is when we,
So
But we had
we
to
told them what the
advertise it.
reserve was and they,
the second time, yeah, because we had to,
That might be.
put it out again because nobody.
But I would think the reserve to show, hey, we're gonna take at least 4,000 for it or not, so the bids will start out there anyhow.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the ones that think they're gonna get it for nothing aren't gonna bid.
Okay, so you.
But I
want it-
would think that we
To
should
declare,
put the
okay.
We wanna get
4,000
rid of
on
it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't be no secret.
If we don't and you don't get a bid higher than that, then we gotta pay the money to put it in
Again.
the paper
Again.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea.
No, just, I guess I don't have a problem saying that, you know, minimum bid of 4,000, just put that in there, if somebody wants it, then they can bid on it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line is, if you try to buy a truck like that with a dump bed on it and all that stuff, I mean, you're gonna have quite a bit, even though it's, I mean, it's not like it's
It's
totally
worth
busted
that
out.
much.
No.
Put the plow and everything on there, it's worth that much.
Yeah.
Are you
These
setting,
ones-
are you setting a date to receive them?
We gotta, when you gonna put it in, John?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to type something up so we can get it in the newspapers. But,
Sometimes.
I mean, we can always wait to throw it, but I'll type something up and you guys
Actually,
can
now's the
always
time
approve
probably
it
to-
at the next.
Well, now's the time to do
That
it,
too.
because right now, there, you know, if it does snow or something like that, you know, we might have a chance to sell right now, because
Yeah.
it's got the plow and stuff on it. I mean, we haven't even snowed yet, but it could still happen, and then now's the time to have it available if somebody
Oh,
needs
yeah.
one.
No, it's
This is the
good.
7th.
So let's,
I mean, how long do you wanna run the ad for a week and then give them some time to get a bid in?
alright, so it's ready for the next
Till the
meeting.
end of the
whatever.
month or something, huh?
Yeah,
I'd say the 24th.
Okay,
Let's open bids on the 24th. I'll get that drawn up and try and get it in the paper next week.
So who wants to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Scott,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Stan,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
PEP came in, Public Entities Pool, our insurance company, and did their risk assessment. They had a couple things, it was minor, installing blanks in the wastewater garage, electrical panel.
Yeah.
And there's an abandoned vehicle up at the water tower there. They also brought that up, so we gotta get that out of there. And fire extinguishers need to be serviced, which Mike's on that, so everything that they asked for is taken care of. PEP's offering a grant this year for safety equipment up to $500, so I put in for some new barricades and some flashers and stuff for us that we don't have any. So I don't know when I'll hear back about that. Actually, we'll be talking to Joe here anyhow about the fire truck, so I'll find out about that. He dropped the paperwork off one morning and I sent it back to him that afternoon with the prices and everything on it, so hopefully, we were probably the first ones, cause this is the first time PEP's ever done that, so. Also on street, the traffic light uptown, I've been in contact with US Utilities, and, what we discussed was putting a mast across diagonal with 2 new fixtures, you know, the whole setup. And moving that panel from the side of the street that it's on and putting everything on the side of the street that Ed's Child's property, or on the other corner there. The biggest reason is to get everything off AEP's pole.
Right.
And second, our storm tile runs right beside there, and there's no room to drill to put a pier in for the mast.
Right.
So, the bid for that's 15,000. So, no, that's pretty cheap. Them lights are only $1,600 a piece.
Yeah.
That's,
What'd you guys do with the lights that you took down here?
Oh, jeez.
you are, I don't even know if I was alive when those came out. You are talking to the wrong
I
person.
think you and I were riding bikes. Seems like it,
Right, could have used the same light bulbs.
maybe. Sure.
Like for the organization.
Every time it rains and so forth, we usually have to replace the bulbs now,
Yeah.
and they're just rough.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got them all silicone together.
Yeah.
Plus, the height on them, minimum, is supposed to be 17 feet, and those are barely 14. That's why they keep getting hit by
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's why the combines get them.
Yes.
Or the big thingies that keep coming through.
Yeah, snow on the
Well, I
tops
mean,
of the
you know,
semis and
it's a
stuff.
safety issue,
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
get that resolved, I mean, so we gotta get that taken
But
care of.
it's, he's bringing it up tonight so that you can vote on it to go ahead and do it, because it's gotta be
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Right,
So-
I mean,
It's
that's,
one of them things that's,
well, we're responsible for that, I mean,
Yes.
it's our light, so we gotta do
right.
it.
And that would be the mast across the road, that would be the panel and everything being moved over, everything being reprogrammed.
That's installed price, right?
And that's a fixed units, so they're not gonna be blowing in the breeze anymore. You can't buy 8-inch lenses anymore, so everything's gonna be 12-inch like it is at the state intersections.
we'll be in this century now.
Yeah.
Get more modern, are we?
Yeah.
And it'll be high enough, nobody will be hitting.
Well, I'll make a motion to move forward with getting that resolved and replaced and getting them set up. I mean, they're gonna pour a pier, I mean, I'm not sure what they can even do.
Well, yeah, that's
You got
the
something
other
to say,
thing.
Rob?
Yeah, I got a question. I don't know, I really don't know. I have no experience with this. But we do have one state route that ends at another state route. Does the state pick up anything? on
We're
that?
incorporated, they are responsible for nothing but the asphalt that runs through here.
Okay.
And actually, I was told that they don't even have to maintain that. So whether that's true or not, I don't know. I know that they've told me before that the reason they were raising, when the road was so rough and they were raising the plows coming through town, that they didn't even have to plow through town here. But they do, so I'm not asking any questions.
Good. Well, I thought I'd ask a question, 'cause
So, yeah, I mean,
you got 4 points there and 3
I
of them
tried
are
to
state
get
highways.
with, I tried to get with them on that light so many times to get them to do something with the light.
That's all, I didn't know
and-
that you did that, and that's the
yeah,
reason why I asked.
They won't do anything with it.
Yeah.
The last time I tried was the time the neutral dropped off the line and it blew the panel up. And we had to, I don't know, we had to put a couple grand in the
Okay.
panel, but
Good enough.
yeah, I tried to get them to do something then too. I tried to get them to bring in some, portable ones because I had stop sign, there was a 4-way stop for I don't know how long there when that panel blew up, but yeah, they don't wanna spend any money on this.
As soon as we're done with this motion, then there's one other question I got for streets.
Okay.
You made your motion.
Did you get a second?
No.
I will.
I'm just curious, does the panel get mounted on the new mast?
Yes. Yep,
And that's not on Ed's property, where's it gonna be?
it'll be in the right of way where the other steel pole's at right now.
Okay.
We'll get that out of there and,
Oh, that'll come out. Oh,
yeah, there's no need for it, it's just holding up, it's holding the other end of that light.
yeah.
But it's starting to unwind to where it's, I mean, that cable's been there forever, so. Regardless, even if we didn't do a whole new unit, we gotta do something because it's gonna end up falling down. So,
Yeah, if we snag somebody or decapitate somebody or something, then that's a real big issue.
Well, that would be.
Well, that's another issue too, you know. But that's, you know, that could happen, if that cable falls down, somebody's driving through
Kinda
there.
dark tonight, aren't you?
Well, he is wearing all
The
black.
outside, right? Yeah, sorry.
Okay, Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Stan,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay, if he has a mast available on his property, they've got a huge storage facility. He said to give him a call back and then he'd be able to give me a time frame. The concrete pier has to set for 2 weeks before they can set anything on it. If he does not have a mast, it's probably 10 to 14 weeks out to get the mast. So maybe in the meantime, they get the pier done.
That's how they get the piers.
Right now, they're doing a bunch of state jobs, so they just got done with the one.
They do all the
by my
electrical
place
work as
over by
far,
Lowe's.
electrical work and all that stuff, they bring them.
We'll have to have AEP bring the line over. For some reason, I don't know why they ever did it like this, but the AEP line feeds down 12, like from the library way, but on the bar side of the street, and feeds them traffic light, or the street lights. And then at the corner there, it jumps across to feed our panel, and then jumps right back across the street again. So the only thing it's feeding on the west side of the road is our panel, so all they gotta do is unhook that and move it to the other side of the street. Which we'll have a pole there for them, so.
They gonna make it necessary to reroute traffic while we're installing all this?
He said no, so.
Most of the time they build that stuff while they're running, I mean, they put a pier and.
They never stopped anything on 53 when they were doing by the ODOT building
But
there.
that's a lot, but still.
Probably have to have somebody direct traffic, which I've directed traffic for. When they fixed it the last time, I directed traffic for a couple hours for them, so. You had a question?
Yeah, it was brought to my attention that they don't have any, and I don't know, maybe they're full, just didn't see it. But is it true that there's no speed limit sign going up Michael Street from Union to the bridge?
I don't
Because
know.
I'll tell you what, they're racing through it, they are racing through it.
I
They
don't know
come
if there
around
is or
that
not, now that you say
corner
that.
and they're already doing, by the time they get to my
I know they
son's house-
replaced that pole, there might have been one on that pole. But regardless if there's a speed limit sign, that's an enforceable law because it's 25 mile per hour in any residential area.
Well, it's,
But
They're having a big
I'll look
problem.
at it.
yes, that was what I will my attention. And just the law enforcement's, when they come around that corner, it's like they go around that corner as fast as they can go and hold onto the road, and then they floor it.
Different tires.
It's how my daughter-in-law's dog got hit.
Really?
And they don't know how fast they're going, but they're a lot faster than what you would think just coming away from a corner.
One more thing on the street. I got a phone call about a tree on Route 12. It'd be right beside the old,
Cabins,
Yeah,
yeah,
that one,
yeah,
the martial arts place.
yeah.
yeah, right beside there. They had a bunch of limbs fall out in the last storm and it is pretty dead. Broke a couple windows in the upstairs of the place. They want that tree removed. So I went up there and looked at it. It's got some rot on the bottom where you can see there's been some water coming out of it. And it splits in 2 different directions and where it splits, there's a bunch of stuff growing in the center of it.
It's
so-
already humped the sidewalk too.
And it's got the sidewalk jacked up.
I don't have to deal with it.
So,
Did we put extra money in the thing this year for tree stuff? Because there's still some bad ones out there.
yeah, we got money put back. I mean, we did the same amount for the tree removal budget, but there's money set aside to purchase new ones again too.
Okay.
Yeah. So, with your permission, I'm gonna get that out of there before it does any more damage to her property.
Now we know about it.
Yeah, we gotta take care of it, we're
Take care of
responsible
it.
for it. 5 bucks.
Not yet.
Mhm.
I've only done a street we gotta do one thing on water.
So do
Okay,
we need a motion, John, to take that tree down?
no, it's in the
Yeah.
budget.
Okay.
We got a line item for it. I just wanna make sure everyone was aware of what we're doing.
Okay.
Unless you guys wanna do a motion. Doesn't matter. Okay, property in town, back in the trailer court. Guy inherited this trailer from his mother, who is in a nursing home now, and he is an over-the-road trucker. Gone for a month and come home to the trailer flooded. And when I got here, it was a Friday night, I got the phone call, I come over quick, got the water disconnected, but it had been running for quite some time. There was icicles hanging all around the outside of this, where it was coming out from underneath the siding. Which in turn made his bill $1,567.54. He had not been to that property in, let's see, 2.5 weeks was the last time he was home. So, I don't know how long this thing ran, but, I don't know if you guys would be willing to do an adjustment
Well, yeah,
on. No one lives there. So,
Well, did we have insurance in place? I mean, the insurance would
it's
cover that, doesn't it?
just a matter of, when he's home, he stops in and looks at the place, so.
Well, if he's gone for about a month at a time, shouldn't he have somebody be checking the place now and again?
Well, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I'm just bringing it to your attention, you know, we had this.
Did it flood the
one-
trailer itself or
Oh,
just
yeah.
underneath?
No, it was inside.
Oh, well, then we
Well,
should
what
have
I do
insurance
is
for
that
that.
before we do anything, then I think we ought to have him canvass his insurance company, see if they'll cover this cost, because that's probably an incurred cost for the damage. I would let them
Okay.
pay it first,
First.
and push back at the insurance company first, because, I mean, we shouldn't have to absorb that, because, you know, that he didn't maintain it or whatever.
But we did, you
We
have
did
to
do this.
remember, we did it for one other person not too long
John?
ago that had a water leak that we,
John,
Well, I think what
my
we do is see if the
question
insurance
is,
company
does he
pay
have a
for it first,
related
since
sewer
there was.
bill and the water did
Oh,
not
yeah,
go in
that's
the,
sewer and water.
that didn't go
combined.
in the
No, if
sewer,
it doesn't,
so.
then we have to
The
revisit it.
sewer
yes.
bill's the one they often reduce.
Right, and even if we do, his bill's still over $700, so,
yeah, and his bill's normally $77,000.
Yeah.
right, so.
I guess the issue was the insurance company gonna fix the trailer, or?
I do not know that.
Are they
All I
gonna
know
dam it
is
or-
that I brought something similar to this to council once before, so I'm doing it again.
And I would be consistent, but I guess my issue is see if the insurance company covers it first, and if not, then we'll have to.
I also know of a situation in town, now this happened years ago, probably about 10 years ago, where somebody turned on somebody's outside spigot, kids,
Mhm.
and they got stuck with the bill. And it was a $400 bill. I mean, and it wasn't their fault, they didn't know what they were doing, the water was running. And,
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I wasn't.
I'm just saying,
present
you
at that
know.
time, But, yeah, I'm just trying to be consistent.
As a person, as a human being, I can take a look at something and make an adjustment for this and an adjustment for that, and I can rationalize it in my mind. But can we do that as a government entity?
Well, and that's why I bring it to you.
Well, I'm saying this to the council members. I mean, I'm looking at you, but I'm saying this to the council members. And, if it was if there was mitigating circumstances, for example, he inherited this from his mom, but he hasn't yet taken possession of it, and he hadn't had a chance to check out the trailer or something like that, okay, I can understand. But if it's something where he's staying there, and he just happened to leave for 2 weeks and didn't take,
Is he living there when he comes
Reasonable.
back? He isn't living there when he comes
okay,
back.
now that's not a mitigating circumstance. Had this been his place, then I would think, okay, you shut the water off before you leave.
Right.
You know,
No,
something like
nobody's
that.
living there. And from the way he explained it to me is his wife goes on the road with him. She puts her car in that garage, and they park here, and she walks down and gets
So
the car.
nobody's actually using this place.
No, so he come into town that Friday night, she walked down to get the car, and water was running everywhere. So she hurried up and called him and said, we got an emergency, so that's when I get phone call at 9 o'clock at night, hey.
In that case, I defer to what Scott said.
Well, I guess the other-
The insurance company first.
The other issue is, was there heat in the place, because the issue is if he was not keeping
If
heat in
it
the place,
froze.
and if it froze and something, he didn't shut the water off, then that's a whole different issue too, as well, so that's not being
Yeah, but there's a
responsible.
lot of making,
Right.
it's in different circumstances, we don't know at this table. And before, we've made some decisions that's probably came back and haunted us, because we didn't have all the facts.
Right.
And I hate to see, it's not a lot of money, but still.
Well, it's a lot of money to some people, I mean, so, I mean, it's $1,000,
Shoot from the
$1,000.
hip.
We can credit him the sewer because it did not go down the sewer.
Well, that's fine, that's
We have
that's
that,
helping up right
but-
there.
You said that bring the bill down at around 700?
Yeah,
I mean, I think that would be fair, but the issue comes down to is, I mean, you gotta be responsible for your own property too, even if you inherited or whatever. I mean, if you're gonna live there, then you need to protect the property from damage, from water damage and all that stuff as well, I mean.
So just have him
And
turn
it's
it
not-
to the insurance company, and if they pay it, okay, and if they don't, well, then we'll revisit this, Is that what we're saying?
that's
Well,
absolutely
we
fine.
will revisit it, we haven't made a decision.
Yeah.
But we've got to bear in mind that the central issue on this is not so much this one property,
Right.
is how do we handle
precedent.
similar cases
Some
down the road.
precedent.
Right, yes, because we run into this exact same thing with vacating sewer taps.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how I feel.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I don't wanna be, full-hearted.
I was asked if there was anything I could do. I
Well,
told him I could
the
tell
other
the
issue is,
council, so-
and I'm open to the sewer, I mean, the reduction of it because of sewer, if it wasn't using the sewer, if the water was running out the house, that's a different issue, that's.
That wouldn't be any different than filling up a swimming pool.
Correct.
Right, right. But I guess the issue comes down to, we gotta figure out, if we didn't have heat in there, and then there's gotta be some ownership there for not to take it. We, like I said, we don't know the facts, because if we didn't have heat and stuff in place, then it's possible it froze up and busted
Well,
something.
it would have froze up and busted everything.
Oh, yeah, it was
I mean, it was cold that time.
Yeah,
that
you know
happened.
what I'm saying, so, I mean, you gotta be somewhat responsible for some of your own actions too, I mean, you can't, have something that happen, right?
Exactly. And as long as you do it that way, you treat everybody fair, you don't have to worry about coming back and having some issue biting you up 6 months down the road.
Right. Yep, that's fine.
What do you think, Stan?
I think vacate the sewer part of it. I'm just sitting here wondering why he didn't turn the
Well,
water
that's-
off
that's-
anyhow,
well, yeah.
He's gonna be
Yeah,
gone for a
I-
month at a time, or?
I,
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know all the circumstances about it.
right.
I mean, if he can walk up and tell the council, say, this is what happened, this is why I didn't do it, we can, okay, he's not fully responsible, then we can talk, but unless he's doing it. I mean, if I had a $1,500 bill and I'd be up here sweating bullets in front of this thing right now, I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I do think it's a fair compromise,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's not something we had anything to do with it, it's just one of those things that happened, we just gotta try to be fair about it, but
Right.
on the same token, like Rob's saying, we gotta be consistent as we can. Because if you don't, they sort of say there's favoritism or whatever, we'll be in trouble again.
Right. Okay, not a problem. We will get with him tomorrow. The only other thing I got before Scott brings up the wastewater issues out there is we've got a lot of influent water coming into the plant. I'm gonna be looking into getting somebody in here to smoke test some of these lines. I did find, another manhole, which that's one that's gonna be lined out there, that, it's leaking around the boot into the manhole, so that, I'm gonna have to get that fixed. That's not one that's gonna be replaced. So the last time we had a problem like that, at the end of Elm Street, we hired a company out of Columbus that come up here and they got some stuff, they drill holes through and inject stuff on the outside and the water makes it. And it
Midnight or
plugs up.
something, so,
I don't know exactly.
What kind of water is it?
Influent water, groundwater.
groundwater.
We're getting groundwater into the system, I'm sorry. And I do believe there's some people that got some pumps tied in, and that will alleviate that issue too. If we get some
I
smoke
did
testing
see
done.
across the street from my house, there was a tile just back of the stop sign. That's in kind of a hollow that had a cracked cap last year, and I haven't noticed it this year or not, but it did have a, you know, the clean out, that was cracked.
See, that's,
And you can get a flow water from that.
Yeah, I'd
oh,
rather-
yeah, absolutely.
So you might wanna check out those locations.
Right.
You might find something.
And that stuff would all show up with smoke testing also, so, but
So we
that's
probably
down
have
the
to
road.
put a notice out, so we don't have everybody calling the fire
Well, yeah,
department.
Well,
because
that
I don't
would-
have a trap on my washer. And that, if you're gonna do that, it's gonna go right up behind my washing machine, and my wife's gonna say, the washer's on fire.
No, I actually, I know people don't like to hear Sycamore, but I actually went over there one day when they had a company in and do theirs. And it was amazing how many, it was coming out, eave spouts, it was coming out, everybody had stuff tied in. It was amazing. But, they did like 2 or 3 weeks worth of advertisement of it prior to. And then they also notified the county, so they weren't calling the fire department out if someone got smoke in their house. It's not really smoke, it's more like a fog machine, but.
I got one of those vents too, those little, instead of having it all the way.
Yeah, back breakers.
On it, yeah, vacuum breaker on
Yeah.
your house.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got for water, sewer, and, well, water and street.
I guess I got the sewer, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. You know, per our discussion, last meeting, we talked about the issue with the catch basins on 590 from Dragoon. So John had the engineering group come in here and do an evaluation of the system. So basically, we got some catch basins that need to be replaced. I think there's 2 of those, and then there's 3 that need to be lined or rehabilitated, that they can save them, but they gotta be coated. So here's some maps I can show everybody. These are the ones that need to be rehabilitated. So you'll pass that around. Where I highlighted the, here.
Okay.
Those ones need to be. These ones here. Well, here's the other ones. They're basically the same, just a different,
Okay.
perspective view of the map. And then these 2 have to be replaced. And these are the ones on 590 there, on County Road 1, County Road 62, and then 590 Maple Street. And those are actually the ones right coming directly from Dragoon, so they'll have to be fixed or whatever.
I mean, what streets?
So we have to resolve that. I mean, we have money in the sewer fund to pay for it. I guess they should go
If
down.
you remember, we had pictures.
Yeah.
Well, the one that was the one that was, has to definitely be replaced, but there's nothing there.
And so just to give an overview, it's gonna be roughly, it looks like it's about $24,200 they're saying it should cost to fix it. $24,200 for basically 2 catch basins. So basically, there's the new manhole installations are estimated around 12,000, and then the estimated $500 for vertical foot for the transition from the road grade to the, and then there's roughly $12,175 for the spectrum, the ceiling stuff, the liners put in, the other ones, the sprayed stuff in there, so it's roughly 51.81 vertical feet of coverage, and that's a coating, that's kinda how they figured it out. So, it's roughly $235 per vertical feet.
What is that, 7 of them altogether?
Yeah.
Something like that, 6, 7,
I think there's 6 in
6.
total.
6?
2 replaced and 6 to be lined.
To be lined, basically. And they're probably gonna like the new ones, I suppose, when they put them in, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a lot of money, but from what it cost me for, I know from coating processes that I use for my cleaning floors and like that, I mean, that's actually pretty reasonable. Cause it usually costs me, $50,000-$60,000 for,
If by
coating.
coding it, we eliminate the chance
The
of
erosion.
happening.
Because what it is, I mean, the hydrogen sulfide gas is what eats up the
Is there a shelf life to this, John? How long that coating will last?
It's got a 10-year warranty on it, but after our infrastructure is fixed, I mean, that's up to you guys, how you, I had Angela put the money in the, appropriations to get this fixed. After that, it's up to you guys, whatever you guys wanna do with the other half of this project.
Well, I think that's something.
But they are gonna need to at least aerate that lift station from here on out. And that's another project in itself. Right now, I wanna keep our infrastructure from caving in,
Right.
so, we'll have to get into that after this, but.
So basically, we're saying we got a two-step process.
Yeah, I think we gotta resolve the issue and get it fixed, and then we're gonna have to get
Then-
involved, Dragoon into this situation for the cost, and see if we can have some cost sharing or something, because the damage is done because they've got an issue on their end, they're not resolving. I think
Well, the
Nothing.
biggest problem is you got how many miles of forced main that has no gravity fall to it. So when their lift station pumps and then stops, that all sets in the miles of main
It goes
for
septic.
however long, and it goes septic before it gets pumped to us. So that's the issue. We need to bring that dissolved oxygen level up in that before it's even pumped into that force main. So if they aerate that lift station, we're hoping that that will solve it. The only other way to solve the issue would be for them to inject chemicals, which is very expensive.
Well,
So we're thinking if they can put in a small compressor and an aerator in the bottom of that lift station, that should alleviate the issue.
Maybe that could be
Well,
added
that's-
on to the
that should
existing
be
plan.
major.
well, I think we need to probably talk to professional engineers again, and. I mean,
Which we did.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think there's another option too, I think that they also could, put water in there from a well or something like that, and pump water in there so the thing pumps more often, so that way the water doesn't get stagnant, because, I mean, the problem comes down, I mean, I understand.
And the problem with that is now you're gonna charge them to
No,
pump
it's
water to us,
because there's a
because it's gonna go
certain
through the
amount
mag
of
meter.
drainage.
You're gonna charge them for the well water.
Well, that's what I'm
that
saying,
shoots
so,
in there.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's gonna have to be some kind of a solution to it, so,
Right.
the issue comes down to, if they put the aeration system in and it doesn't work, because the issue really is the distance it's gotta travel, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's what the issue is, because there's so much residence time, because of time for the chemical reaction to get the hydrogen.
New
sulfide.
Regal had the same problem pumping to Fostoria, and they had to start injecting chemicals.
Right, so the chemical, so you weigh the cost of the chemicals versus the cost of the water, what I'm saying, so that's what we gotta present to them, because it's another option, I'm just saying, because the chemicals.
But you're still gonna have to aerate it, even if you do water
Right.
it down, because you're still not bringing the
Right.
DO levels up in it
Right.
until it's
I agree
been
with that.
aerated.
But I'm just saying, when you look at it, because your chemicals can really add up real quick, I mean, I understand that, so.
Right.
So they need to look at some other options as well, to try to make it so it's cost effective for them, and say, you know, this is, we're not gonna say this is how you exactly gotta do it. There's some options, and talk to engineers about it and see, because sometimes they get set in their ways, but the problem is the chemical cost will, over, you know, lifetime of
Right.
their plan, it's gonna be astronomical, and I don't know where they're at financially either, so that's something they need to look at.
But that's why I said that, the money part of it, you guys can figure out with them. I made sure we've got money to get our infrastructure fixed, and after that, you guys
Because
can figure
Dave
out.
said it is important to do it now.
Oh,
You
yeah.
cannot wait.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah, because
I mean,
we could have
if
a,
we would be in a
we could have a
bigger-
cave in pretty easy at that one.
Yeah,
lift
so I think the
or that
issue is,
manhole.
let's forward this information to them, so they're on the same board and they
I already
understand the
did.
cost. So that they're, you know, that we're in a partnership together, I don't want I want everybody to be on the same
Right.
page of what we're doing here. And say, we need to talk to engineers, and, you know, sometimes you gotta push back to engineers and say, you know, is there other options there, because they're
Right.
gonna go for what's easy for them sometimes, not
Right.
necessarily, you have to look at the big picture long term,
Right.
because,
The information that you have on the table right now was all given to him Friday afternoon. I spoke with, the mayor of Burgoon.
yeah.
I got with him Friday afternoon and, give him all the information that we have so far.
And he's on board with the irrigation?
He's still
Potentially.
taking suggestions, he doesn't really know exactly.
Let me be devil's advocate.
He's not real
What happens if we
familiar
do
with-
all this repair work and we don't, and Burgoon doesn't irrigate or add chemicals?
Then you fall back on the original contract, which puts them liable. If they're sending us, sewage and it's all drawn out in there, DO levels, BOD loads, all that, if they're sending us bad stuff, we can increase their bill for that.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we're.
Well, I think let's get that contract out, and so that's all part of this whole thing, get back to the table, because maybe he doesn't
I
have
gave
that.
him copies of all that too.
Okay, so I'm just saying, so everything's current, or what the contract says, and what their responsibilities are, you know, and we get everything back on the table again, and I mean, this comes out, we gotta fix it, and then we have to go back and try to negotiate cost sharing or what we can do on some of this cost, or they're gonna have to fix some of this stuff or whatever, cause there's gonna be costs.
It's called an extra strength surcharge. I got it right.
Okay, well, let's just, bring them in and make sure they see it all.
So I gave it, he asked for copies of all this stuff with the copies of the stuff that Scott has, and this was all given to him Friday, so. And he didn't sign this one, Geneva signed this one, but a couple of the rate, structure changes, he's actually the one who signed it, so.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about kind of where we're at right
Just
now?
wanna make sure we're protected, we
I mean,
gotta do
are
it.
we all in
We gotta
agreement?
make sure we
So
do
we're
it
gonna do that
once.
first part first, the 6,
We need to get our
get that
infrastructure
done, and
fixed.
then address
Yes.
this.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I think it's gonna take a while to do this whole thing, but I just wanna make sure they're on the same page, cause I don't want them to be blindsided, I want to be upfront and honest with everybody, cause, I
No.
mean, cause this is cost to all of us, right, so we gotta come
It
clear on a
took,
solution.
it took the manholes, what, 12 years to get this bad. So if we get our infrastructure fixed, we've got a little bit of time to work through with Burgoon what we're gonna do to get this fixed so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, 'cause
Plus, they didn't line the original ones. These ones are gonna be lined now also.
I understand that, I just don't wanna put it up to tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes.
Well, it's just gonna cost you more money, I mean, the bottom line is if you put it off, then you're gonna have other damage, and then just,
Well, as long as it's fresh in everybody's mind, we're all working for the same goal, that's what I'm.
For the catch basin.
So we gotta have a
No,
motion.
they're manholes.
Yes, we gotta,
Well, what's,
let's do a motion.
okay, I'll make a motion to move forward with the repairs of the septic, catch basins and,
Manholes.
manholes and stuff, get all that stuff moved forward and also have them coated.
I'll second it.
what was the cost on that, Scott?
It was
Do you
rough-
have a total?
24,200.
Oh, it is.
24,200.
What kind of time frame we looking at, John, for getting this working?
They said 30 days, they're supposed to begin from getting the approval of everything. So,
And they're gonna coordinate all the issues with the roads and all this, because they're gonna tear the roads up, and
Yep.
they'll have to coordinate all that with the state and,
well, they shouldn't have any involvement in roads. It's all in the right of way.
okay.
They're not
Okay.
tearing up the tile
Yeah.
between.
Other than traffic control,
Well, that's
because
not
they'll
bad.
have equipment in a road.
Right, I'm just saying, cause I mean,
But they won't be tearing up any roads.
I mean, they'll have to put boxes down in there and all that stuff, you know.
That's part of the reason, this outfit is out of Bryan, Ohio. It's the only place that's got excavators big enough to lift these manholes and, trench boxes
Yeah.
tall enough, cause they're,
I mean, I don't know how deep they are, I
they're
mean,
10 foot in the
10
ground
foot,
over
yeah.
there, yeah.
Didn't you say this guy invented what, did he?
No, he's the only guy that's licensed to spray this liner in this area. It's new, they've been using it in Bowling Green with a lot of success. That's why it's got the 10-year warranty on it.
it's some pretty good stuff, I mean, I've used a lot of it for the.
They've used that Sherwin-Williams brand.
Epoxies?
Yeah, and it caves in at the top. It looks like bacon when it falls.
Well, this is more like plastic, so they spray on there and it seals it.
Yes.
Sits on there, so.
Okay, roll call, Scott,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joyce, Dan,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, wait, where we at now? That was that one, right?
Yep, you don't have any more.
No, not for that, I'm done. Okay,
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out where I'm at with some stuff.
Okay, we'll move on to park. The only thing I wanted to bring up about the park is we wanna fix a date for the July 4th fireworks thing. July 4th is on Tuesday, so when do you wanna shoot the fireworks off? Do you want it on the 4th, do you want it on 3rd, do you want it on that weekend, what do you
need to
wanna
know what
do?
you're gonna do.
Well, I guess the issue is if we're not gonna have any camping and stuff at the park, I mean, to me, we just do it on the 4th and make it easy for that week. I mean, if we're not gonna do any of the other stuff, the weekend doesn't really matter, I don't think, because we're not gonna, we're gonna support having campers and vendors and all that other stuff in there, because that's, somebody's gonna manage that, that's just gonna cost us more money.
Yeah, it'll be
Right.
all overtime money.
A lot of overtime money, and I don't think we wanna do that, so,
4th of July.
you know, I mean, but the issue comes down to they got, you know, now they've got the police department and everybody else, so I mean, it adds up to a lot of money, so I mean, you know.
Now, I got one question on
Okay,
that, and
okay.
maybe I'm out of place here, but if you're gonna open up that facility and shoot off the fireworks inside that facility like you've always done, you're gonna have to have it patrolled somehow.
Oh,
No,
he's
we're
talking about
The weekend
having
before.
campers and stuff so that we have security
Oh.
there and
He's
stuff
talking
like
about
that.
Saturday and
Yeah.
Sunday.
I'm
We
sorry.
figure
I
out
was
on the
just
police
a little
department.
nervous.
No, we're saying, I think we just patrol our costs that one day, cause I mean, we're gonna have the money to shoot the fireworks, but then you're also gonna have all the other incurred costs. So if we charge the $5 per
Oh,
car
yeah.
or whatever, that might cover our costs for the labor, for the, you know, for the police patrolling and John's labor and everybody else's, so I mean, we gotta.
It's a
cover
long
some-
day.
It's a long day for everybody, so the other issue is, when do you open the park up too, at the same time, do we open it at noon, or, you know what I'm saying, for people to come in and start getting set up, or what do you wanna do for the picnic, or do we do it at 10:30? So we gotta kinda define what the time is, so we can figure out how we're gonna, you know, support it with patrolling it with the police department or us or whatever. Because it's a lot of work, you know, it's a lot of work to do that stuff.
Well, there's a lot of people that come there,
I know, and
not just to camp, but to cook out all.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
so, I want the people to enjoy that day, is what I'm getting at, so,
You've always opened the gates at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, yeah, 'cause we was out there about 6. but-
yeah.
So how did you collect, when you opened it like that, how did we collect the $5 then?
Because they
When
come
they come
in,
in?
they come in, when they come in, we collect them right there.
Okay.
They drive up to the yellow
Okay.
station there and
Okay,
we collect it.
That's how we did, but
Yeah.
people were there all day, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
one of the council members were there, collecting money all day,
Yeah.
and then at night, when we went to opened up the other gates, then we had more people, that was collecting the other points. So I just think we do it in one day, because I think if you try to do the weekend, and we try to do the perimeter camping, all that stuff, I think this costs a lot of money, then we still, somehow we gotta manage that. And it all costs money, so, and we, you know, we don't only have, we've got the money for the fireworks, and we really don't have a lot of money set aside for anything else, so we can only hope that we can recoup some of our costs by the people.
Cause we usually got, I think we usually got, what, $6,000 to $8,000 on,
I've never seen it over 7.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
7,
No.
okay. Between 6 and 7,
Yeah.
but, I mean, that should help, I
Should
should
pay
do
for
that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we
I
use that
should
money,
pay
to-
for all that.
and that's what I'm thinking, so if we do it that way, then there's not a lot of incurred costs in the village, is what I'm getting at, so, you know, that's my view, just to do it on the 4th, but whatever everybody else wants to do.
I'm in for the 4th.
Stan?
When are they gonna, have you guys got the fireworks yet, or are you doing?
No,
No,
that's, Jim's
Jimmy
gonna
Lang's
do it.
getting those.
I'm just saying, the fire chief and the police chief have to sign off on it.
right, Jimmy's doing it, so
Well, as of
everything
right
he's ever
now-
done,
As of right now, he's not registered, so that's why I was asking.
he's got his license and everything.
He doesn't have his 2 years update. I was on the website yesterday.
Yesterday, okay, well, I know he's getting it,
So I
so,
need to go to that class too, that's why I was saying.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
I was just,
But he's-
I was just making sure that you guys knew that
you have to
if you
register.
proceed with the police department, somebody has to sign off on it before.
oh, yes, we know.
Okay.
Some
'Cause
of
he
this,
usually
that's
gives
all-
me a thing and I
that's all
take
I'm
it
saying,
around to
this
you
is
guys.
gonna fall in
Yeah.
line with stuff on old business too.
That's all I was getting at, was
Yeah.
just that part. Yep.
What's that, this fire department or
No,
fireworks?
the fireworks thing,
Okay,
so.
okay. Then we can talk about no business, we need more details or whatever, I just want, you brought that forward. And then, while we're in the park yet, the other thing, I got a call from Tim Johnson, he's from the booth over there, from the Little League Baseball, and they're saying that they got a bunch of kids now, they're having overflow, so they're having trouble get able to use the ballpark over there, and they're looking for another resource, and they was wondering if they can use our park as well for overflow, which I said, I don't see no issue with that, you guys see any issues with that, or?
As long as they take care of it, they do, they know they have to
Take care of the field, I'm talking to them,
do
say they've gotta take care of the field and all the maintain or whatever, so I guess which field would they use? Would they use the one on the south side?
Alright, so,
South.
so the girls' diamond there,
Well, I don't know, that's my.
which is as you coming in, it's on the left-hand side.
Yeah, isn't that what they usually use?
Yeah, that's what they
Okay.
always, all the
Is
kids
that what they
use.
use out there, Sam?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's
The
what they
south
always
end.
use.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm not sure where we're going with that, but he called me and I said, well, I would talk to
Cause
the council
we'll,
about it.
have to make plans too, cause Old Fort does ask to use it for overflow for practice.
Okay, that's fine, yeah, so we'll have to set some kind of, coordinate the,
Cause you always did that, didn't you, Sam?
Yeah.
Take- Run it diamonds and everything.
okay. So, we'll have to coordinate, maybe coordinate it with Sam, so we can, have somebody kind of watch what's going on, or we'll get that on, somehow we'll get that on our webpage or something, so we can
We'll
kind
see
of
if they're
coordinate.
still interested
Yeah.
with,
But he just wanted to know if you guys would be willing to do that
Oh,
first,
sure.
so I made no commitment on anything, I just said I would
Yeah.
talk to council.
might as well use it.
Yeah, I agree, I mean, I want people to enjoy the park, I mean, that's the whole point here, so. So, okay, so I'll call him back and tell him, they're okay, once they work out their details and reviewing what their issues are there, and then we'll try to figure out what their needs are, and we'll try to work around that, so. It sounds like they had a bunch of kids sign up, something like that, and they got an issue as far as,
Burgoon has a heck of a, well, so and so forth.
so, okay, I'll call him back this week then, and they know where we're at.
Okay, so we're gonna do it on July 4th.
That's a Tuesday, you said?
It is on a Tuesday, and we'll open the gates at 8 o'clock, we'll man the gates at 8 o'clock, is that what we're kinda just decided on?
Yeah.
We'll take turns for a couple hours at a time or something, and so we do what, and then I don't think we always open the other gates up around 6.
6
you know?
o'clock, yeah.
Well, at 5,
No, we open them at
Six.
six.
Six,
Yeah.
We open
okay.
at 6, Joyce.
you and me, Linda?
You and me, Joyce.
Oh, here we go.
Open the corner gate.
Okay. I don't know, but the door keeps swinging.
Okay.
Do you have anything, Sam?
I just let everybody know that, I did contact a couple other people about the drones,
Mm-hmm.
but they haven't got back
Oh,
to me.
okay. We'll figure something, we'll get something going out there this year.
Okay, zoning, you got anything, Scott?
Yeah, I got a call from Lynn Roberts, I think Stan did too, about parking their motor home in their yard. Of course, there is an ordinance against that, I mean, they can park it there, but they don't live in it, they can't live in it, park it, live in it, and put water.
John sent me a
Yeah,
ordinance and I forwarded it to her.
yeah, and she called me again, probably just to try to,
Don't, yeah.
I'll try to make sure that she's coming in from a different angle, but at the end of the day, it's in the zoning, which makes sense, I mean, we don't have a mobile home, mobile,
Trailer.
RV
RV park.
RV park in the town, so, and then, we have the mobile home set aside.
Lynn Roberts.
I don't think
I
it
don't
would be right
really even know who
to
she
have
is.
people just go in their yard or whatever, just, live in there.
I think she has a friend that lives here
Deal.
or something,
When she went over in there.
something like that.
I was approached by someone who wants to purchase a vacant property here in town, and they would like to know if they could put like a 14 by 26 shed on it and turn it into living quarters.
I don't think so.
Maybe they're just gonna park that RV under it.
I don't know, I that's something that I
Cause
said.
that sounds like, that's how she approached me, she said, wanted to purchase this property next to a friend's house and park their RV there, and that's the same person called you, might be.
This is a different person.
Oh,
Well, the issue comes down to, I mean, that's kind of circumventing the system, because I mean, you gotta have, it's gotta be a building house, it's gotta have running water and all that stuff, so we're gonna have to have, foundations and all those other things, so you can't just put a pole building there, that's kind of like what it sounds like, right?
He said to ask if he needed a
But you know-
foundation or what he was gonna do.
but
Sounds
all-
like tiny homes, I don't know.
Well, see, that's the issue comes down to, I mean, that's kind of a movement in the United States, so, the tiny homes and stuff, so.
Baldies.
So I guess,
Oh,
how do we address that? I mean, that's something, it's not
Is that
zoning
on-
right now.
I didn't get an answer for him, I said I was gonna bring it to you guys.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
When I bought that
Those assigned
property,
to that
they had a
building?
lot of restrictions.
He
on
said
what I
something like
Yeah.
14 by 26
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh, you don't remember exactly?
No, he didn't have
Oh, yeah.
plans for it. He wanted to know if you could do it.
well, I would say no, as
You
it
can't
is
do
right
it,
now.
yeah.
I think maybe, I think there is a square footage thing issue in there, I have to go back and look at the ordinance and see what the square footage
Certain
is
square
on that.
footage. is
A
gonna be
minimum
a
square
single
footage for a
family home.
residential?
I'll have to double check that, I was thinking there's something in there.
There is for
Otherwise, you
trailer,
say
I
Conex
think,
box
but I
and
don't
live
know
in it.
what that- in there.
I'll have to go back and look at it again, it's been a while since
maybe you can talk
Reviewed
him into
that stuff.
moving in that trailer.
No
I'll look at it.
lights.
It's a win-win.
It could be a prefab as long as it's like a sick
Okay.
coat, but you can't do
That's-
Okay,
As is.
That's the only thing I got under zoning.
okay. Okay, we'll go on to old business. First one, we're gonna do the second reading of ordinance 2017-01. It was the ordinance signifying 3 assessments on parcel number H31-00-048872-00 -00 from the years 2012, 2014, and 2015 as uncollectible and to be removed from the books for the village of Bettsville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Is this the second reading?
This is second reading.
Okay.
And the parcels, years 2012 was 132.21, 2014 is the amount of 434.48, and 15 in the amount of 303.61 are uncollectible and are to be removed from the books of the village.
And that was the property was sold, right?
Did you get one of every kind I've got?
Yeah.
No, copies of the
There's one on the floor there.
I've got just that
Yeah, it's
blank
down by
one,
the-
is the only one. that
Down by
I've
where?
got.
Oh, the ones around the edge of that alley there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that'll be second reading on that one.
I got 3 copies of 4.
I need one of 4.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I need,
I don't know how many you do that.
I need 4, if you've got
You need 4?
two extra.
Take a 4.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got 2.
You got 2, here's a 3.
Okay, thank you.
What number is
Okay.
that, Ron?
I only got 2 and 3, so I need 1 and 4.
Okay, well, let's keep going here.
Thank you.
Or, the ordinance 2017-02 for policy on blanket certificates. An ordinance establishing a policy on blanket certificates pursuant in conjunction with ORC 5705.41D that said certificates not exceeding a certain sum of money. And I guess Scott's gonna bring up the one, like
Yeah, we-
50,000.
Angela talked to, auditor. Teresa, and basically she said that's kind of number we had between 50 or 60,000, so I said we just put 50,000 in for right now, that's the line items.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna put on there for $50,000, against any specific line item account not run beyond the end of the current fiscal year in the village of Bettsville, Ohio. So that'll be the second reading on that one.
What is, I don't quite understand what that means. Is it easy to explain it more?
I think Angela probably can explain it better than I
What
can.
is
What?
The blankets.
blanket certificates?
That is
And
what I enter in the UAN when I pay my bills. It's like a PO, but it's a blanket certificate.
and the 50,000 is gonna be a cap?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I use the dollar amounts.
And we had a previous
Under the-
cap, or we never had?
No, we never have one, they just
Oh.
suggest.
And the
it.
auditors
The
requested this.
auditors
Okay.
requested
It's
that.
basically, I go off of my appropriation dollar
Okay, I
amounts.
see. That
It's
makes
the
more
same
sense.
as a blanket PO.
Yeah, it's a super, yeah, blanket.
Blanket certificate,
Right,
like,
blanket
pretty much.
Okay.
It's a control.
Yeah.
But the auditors wanted us to do that, so I'll fix that problem. Okay, that's second reading on that one. And we go to ordinance 2017-03 for deposits. An ordinance establishing a policy that deposits not exceeding $1,000 can be held up to 3 business days before deposit in the village of Bettsville, Ohio. And that was another one to correct an audit.
Thank you. That was kind of started probably because of the.
You need one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one we have.
Okay, now you got all
some-
I 4?
Yeah.
I should have everything. And I don't know what that resolution is.
If they were named right now.
Can't tell what that
Okay,
is.
yeah.
Brittany,
Brittany, you know, I mean, people put the money in the bank or whatever, and there was a couple mistakes made or whatever,
Right.
and see that there wasn't something like a check.
So this
balance.
allows you a 3-day float. You
Well,
don't
that,
have to
we
run
have
it
a
up
check
there.
balance that way, so somebody can confirm that the deposit's right in your checking receipts and stuff, you know. So we're just trying to confirm, wait, you know, check balance. And so we're trying to-
no, that's what And then ordinance 2017-04 for rehire a magistrate. That's an ordinance rehiring Magistrate Thomas McDermott as magistrate for night court and establishing a rate of pay for $125 per session attended by the magistrate for the village of Bettsville, Ohio. And that would be the second reading on that.
What about under there?
Got it. Okay.
And we have resolution 2016-14 amendment. As a second reading of it, this will be second reading amendment to resolution 2016-14, which does the 2017 budget. Okay. Okay, next one coming up is we're going to talk about the police department. We did last month, give you what we had and said something about thinking it over, see what we have to go. Melissa asked for some time to talk about it, so I said it was fine with us to come and give her side of this story too. We wanna hear from her. And, I think we'll start off with Melissa first, okay? Uh-huh. Just pretend like you're a teacher.
Yeah, we don't bite much.
You're a professor now.
What's the last name? Last name, you know?
But we can't be any discriminators from
What
what
is the
criminals
last
do, right?
name?
Melissa Mason.
Mason?
Some of the criminals that pick up, right? Or are we?
Oh, there we go.
I thought it was raining outside.
Okay, go for it.
Just starting off, I understand that you guys have a tough decision to make, you know, it's not gonna be easy, but I wanted to give my 2 cents worth. You know, I've been here almost 6 years, I have a nice rapport with the community, great rapport with the school. Villagers have come to me and expressed their feelings of wanting to keep us, but obviously none of them are here tonight, so that is not within my hands, I can't help that they don't show up.
I've had, excuse me, I'm sorry, I've had people tell me the same thing that you just said.
Thank you. It's been numerous times, and again, I don't know, you probably tell them to show up as well. And,
Yeah.
you know, we can't hold their hands.
But I have had a couple of different people say that.
You know, they just wanna be comfortable. They're not sure that they're going to be comfortable with going with the sheriff's department. This is something that, you know, you have to, they have to learn to be comfortable with if that's the decision that you guys choose to make. Community policing is a big part of our job. I do that a lot. I go to the school, I hand out candy that I pay for out of my own pocket. This year when the kids started school, the first day I went, I called Brandon, make sure it was okay to come in and work that day. And I bought 500 plus pencils to hand out to the kids at school. I had one kid a couple weeks ago come up to me and say, hey, you're the one that gave me that pencil. You know, these are things that, you know, you want to keep, and with the reputation that some of the police departments are having lately, community policing is a huge deal, and, you know, we want to keep that rapport and that good communication with especially the children. Candy on Halloween. I've bought stickers to hand out every time I go into the school. They ask for stickers constantly. I've even participated in gym classes with the 3rd graders who kicked my butt. But it's fun. It's something that I like doing. I'm still here after 6 years. I don't want to go anywhere else. I actually like coming here and doing this. You don't hear that very often. There's been several times that county has called me and the other officers to come out and take care of a call while we were off duty. I have left my full-time job to come out here and take care of calls. I know that Jason has done the same thing. Brandon has been contacted to do the same thing. You know, I'm 15 minutes away, and that may be quicker than your response time if county comes out and takes it. You know, it's just, we are still very familiar with the residents themselves. We know addresses, we know names. If you say a name, we can say, oh yeah, I know about so-and-so, and we attach names and addresses to these people. When a new person comes along, they're not gonna be so familiar, and it's gonna be a tough road to try to learn everything. And then the cost of starting up a new department, if you guys decide to go with the sheriff's department and for whatever reason doesn't work for you, the cost of starting up a new one is going to be quite a hurdle. So again, you know, my thoughts are, I would love to stay here, I would love to keep doing the community policing. I visit residents every time I'm over here. I have special ones that I make sure that I check up on and make sure that they are okay. My biggest one is the school. I love going to the school. I did the fall festival with them. I took my boots off and got in the bouncy houses with them. We did a race. You know,
That's fun.
it is, it's very fun. We went on a hayride, but you know, these are going to make lasting impressions on these young children. I want them to know who we are and, you know, that we are not the bad guys. If they have a problem and they need to talk to someone, that they know that they can come to us and talk to us. Now, you may not get that if you guys go with the sheriff's department, so that's pretty much all I have.
And also, when we was talking, Melissa, you also said that you would be interested in putting your name in for the chief position.
I would.
That you would like to have a shot at it and that to make things go and do your best with that, so.
I would.
I mean, that's saying a lot for her, right? And
I want this to stay a community police department. I want us to keep familiarized with the residents. I've been here, like I said, almost 6 years. I know a lot of these. I've had several conversations with residents outside of the village. You know, I have a good rapport with them. Nobody knows them like I do. I care about this place. Don't tell everybody.
No, we appreciate that.
No,
We know that you do. I mean,
and that's why I really.
That's why we have a honest discussion.
Because, I mean, it is an emotional time. It is. And we want what's best for the residents and that too, so. I want all the angles looked at and see what we can do. I mean, it would be a blow to lose the police department. Be something to take away from the residents, but, I mean, we would, but we wouldn't be, but, like you say, we're only getting, for our 55,000, we're only getting 30 hours a week from one person.
Right.
And do we know the days and the hours that
They would
person
set it
does?
up according to what we wanted, as far as the
Would
days.
that person be on call, or would they
No, they
actually
would
be
be
in
here
the
in the
village?
police
In the
department,
village,
yes.
30 hours a week?
Yes.
That would probably be
And it
all
would,
days.
and it would be the same person, so that he
One
gets
person.
rapport with the residents.
So, like, how many people are we talking, like, a chief and say two people, or three, or, you know, this is what we have to,
Well, I think right now, it's Brandon, how many we have?
What I budgeted for this year would be about 60 hours of coverage. That would be 20 from whoever would replace me, and then 40 from the officers spread out throughout the week. So if we were able to get and keep those officers, we could have approximately 8 hours per day, 7 days a week, is the way we have budgeted now with the salary. But, and then the county would give you 30 hours depending on the days, which would be, if you divide it all up, an average of 4.2 hours. So for approximately 32% more, you get double the coverage.
And that's where your budget's set up right now, right?
And your budget for this year would have been
83?
86, is it, I think it was 83.
Yeah, 83.
did we ever have a police level? Didn't we?
What kind of training does they have to go through to be the chief, really? I mean, is there any?
Nothing specific.
Nothing
The only specific training that anyone really has to have is the new CPT hours, which is a continuing professional training. But that has to be everyone who's a police
Right.
officer in the state of Ohio. This year it's 20 hours. No matter if it's the chief or an auxiliary, they have to have that same amount of hours. So there's nothing specific.
So is there any incurred costs that we're not looking at, I mean, from having our own department as far as coming up in the next couple of years that we're going to be responsible for, like you was talking about some, training
Some of the-
issues, and then there's gonna be other issues?
Some of the hiring standards, and I'm not 100% sure if these are gonna happen, but this is what I've seen coming, is some of the hiring standards that we're gonna have full physicals, polygraphs, psychologicals and stuff for each hire. That can be very expensive. Right now, since we have part-time employees, we don't have to do all those things. But I with, some of the things that are happening out there, I foresee that in the next, I'll say 5 years.
That you do part-time, you'd have to do part-time too?
Right, that's what I see, is that they're gonna make it for part-time, whether you're part-time, full-time, or auxiliary, to be able to carry a gun in the state of Ohio, you're gonna have to go through all these steps. Is it 100% sure it's gonna happen? No, but those are the kinds of things that I see possibly coming in the near future.
If we go this route with the sheriff's deputy, are there any additional officers or just him and that's
It'll
it?
be him, he'll be the one who'll be here all the
So
time.
when he's not here on those hours, there's no,
Well, you got the same thing as, we don't have an officer here, the county still has to cover us, they have to answer the calls.
But they only have 2 people on duty normally at a time to cover the entire county of Seneca.
They've upped that to 3,
Have they?
yes.
Well,
But
Yeah.
it's still not very many.
It's
If you're at the
not,
other
no.
end of the county, it
right?
could take some time.
Response time would be horrible. Like I said, I'm only in Green Springs, Jason's in Green Springs. We can make it here in 15 minutes. Going the speed limit.
Yeah. How do you feel about being in a manageable position where you're gonna have to make tough calls, but having some wardens working for you? How do you feel about that?
It'll be tough, nothing's easy. You work with what you have and you do your best. I've been in tough situations a lot, and I have to use my best judgment, and everybody's not gonna like it, but I have to do what's best for the department, and you have to see the whole picture, not just in the moment.
Because you're gonna have, conflict,
Yeah.
conflicts you have to deal with, how do you resolve those issues, or, discipline issues, all those things, those are things you're gonna have
First
to
thing,
address.
being a woman, is a guy gonna listen to you, This is the
There,
thing.
I know, I understand that, but I get a lot more respect from the men than I do the women. If I have to go out and arrest, I used to carry the pink handcuffs with me, and the women were just, don't put me in those. And then the guys that I did have to arrest with the pink handcuffs just had a ball with it.
That's probably one other issue we should probably talk about.
so Brandon, the way you figured it, we'd get twice the coverage for roughly 30% more.
Correct. Due to, obviously, they don't get paid as much as the
Right,
sheriff's deputies. and
right,
things like that.
But the twice the coverage is
And
what
that's
catches my
if we can
attention.
find people to cover those hours,
Well, that's another issue too, that's another issue. I
which
guess-
has always been an issue for
Yeah,
us. it seems
and
like.
the thing is, there's a lot of competent people you can hire, but there's also, you gotta be really careful, because you can hire somebody that have issues with that employee,
Right.
and then how you gonna address it right away, because, we have to make sure that we have a check and balance here, that if we got a problem employee, we definitely don't want somebody out there that's causing more issues than solving problems, that's my concern, because the issue comes down to is that we only have a small amount of money to spend, so you're not necessarily gonna get.
Cream of the crop, but
Cream of
we're
the crop.
gonna get the kids right out of school probably anymore,
Yeah.
really,
And you're gonna get the ones that'll, come and work here and stay, that really care, like Melissa and Jason, and
Yeah.
that our core group of people, but the majority are gonna be the ones getting right out of the academy,
Yeah.
trying to get some experience,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
move on to the full time.
So you're gonna have something, more people rolling all the time, so you
Yeah,
got
turnover, yeah.
And that's the hardest part, and that's why I couldn't keep up, is because I don't have the time to train them.
Right. So do you think you can train, if you take responsibility, you feel you can train these people and rein them in when you got a problem and?
I do. I care about this community, and I want to be able to work with the officers in the community together, and you have to work with everybody, and if one's not on board, you've got to figure out why, and you've got to nip it in the bud as soon as you can. You can't just let it go, and it just snowballs. So it has to be dealt with in a timely manner before it does get out of hand.
How are we on firing people? Everybody anymore, if you try to fire somebody, they take you to court and all this kind of stuff,
Everybody will sue for anything, it's just gonna happen, so as long as you do it right and you follow procedures, you know, I was once told that you know that you're doing your job right when you've been sued.
Well, you gotta have structure, I mean, I think Brandon's put some structure together to the department, I mean, that, and I'm open to all this thing here, I mean, because the cost is gonna be there no matter what we do. My only concern is that just looking down the road, my only concern was, what are gonna be the unforeseen costs that's gonna cost us, because I mean, you're still gonna have to deal with vehicle, you know, having a police vehicle, and you're still gonna have to maintain that, and you're gonna have cost involved for having the computer system and all that stuff, you know, those are just the overhead costs you have, let alone the employee costs, which then you have training costs, and you got,
But everything that I figured up was apples to apples. So
Okay.
I figured up the $56,000 or whatever the sheriff told you guys. He's adding in his vehicle and things like that. So our 83 is adding in the vehicle, and that's the entire budget. And that was figured.
And that accounts for additional officers that we may not have right now, but that 83 would account for,
It counts for that amount of hours.
okay, the hours, yeah.
Irregardless of how many officers are, it's just those
Just the hours
specific
of
amount of
coverage.
hours.
Okay.
And Melissa did tell me too that she has rapport with the other officers for when they need their marksmanship and all that stuff like that. They'll come or they'll get with her and they will do the thing for her.
because the other issue we have put on the table, if we don't go with Melissa, we're gonna go down that path, then we're gonna have to go out and canvass and get resumes and stuff like that, and then try to weed through all that stuff, which, then you're gonna have to, you know, do due diligence on that, and try to make sure that we don't have issues, you know, there, so that's kinda where you actually either kinda go with the known, the two knowns that we have, or then we'll go to the unknown and see what our risks are there as far as looking at from other employees that we decide to keep a police department, or, you know, fund our own department and not use the sheriff's department, then, so we got to kind of figure out kind of what we wanna do for risk, so.
And when we was talking, I mean, she's so diligent about this that she said, I'll work for the same amount of money. I'm not in it for the money, I just wanna see us do what we have to do. So I mean,
that's not
that,
the
I mean,
point,
that's,
but yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
not the point, but it's just how emphatic she is about the
Well,
department and so
And
forth.
she's been good to the community,
Oh,
so I mean,
yes,
you know, that's what I'm
very
saying,
good.
so that's why, to this come,
And that's why I'm just telling you
I'm
these
kinda changing
little
my
things
position a little bit now,
that
because
they
now
count, they
this
should
option's
count
here
too.
that wasn't here before. To me, I mean, you got the cost, but then, you know, you also gotta look at, you know, what we're trying to do with the community and how much change we wanna make, 'cause we're talking roughly, what, $30,000, but then again, you got 30% more increase of coverage, you know, so.
Look at how much we spent today, so, I mean, that 30,000 wasn't nothing.
I know, but, you know, what do you think, Rob? I know you're over there thinking.
Alright, you know, I knew last month when we talked about this, that we were gonna walk into this meeting tonight. And on top of all the other business we took care of, we were gonna talk about the police department. And I am absolutely confident that I am very uncomfortable making any kind of decision that quickly.
Right.
Because there's a lot of ramifications. You know, I'm listening to all the good work that Melissa's doing here. And all that stuff's important to the members of our community, especially the little ones. Okay, there's also a dark side. There was just a couple weeks ago over in Tiffin where the police pulled over a car with 5 individuals in them, some of them from Toledo, Ohio. Inside were scales and drugs and a stolen .380 came out of North Carolina. I mean, both those things are possible in this town with Route 12. If we were just a little rural thing like Amstead or something like that, where you're tucked out of the way, I wouldn't worry about it. But I wanna be absolutely sure that whatever decision we make, we don't throw away something that's worked so far over $30,000.
Right, I agree.
Okay, or 2, we end up putting somebody in harm's way, and 2 years from now, we're all regretting the decision, or we're I shouldn't say we're regretting, we're second guessing the decision we made. So we need to take enough time, and probably part of it would be an executive session, where we can sit down and brainstorm this thing and say, okay, what's up? You know?
I'm not sure that would be appropriate for executive session.
That's right.
Well, at some point, we have to have a meeting that's dedicated just to this. Okay, well, we're sitting here saying, okay, here's the pros and cons. Because either way, somebody's gonna, we're gonna, no matter whose perspective, we're gonna make the right decision and the wrong decision. So we have to make the best decision we possibly can.
Right.
Because to Melissa's point, and we brought this up last month, Melissa, had we shut this all down and go to the sheriff department, it's really hard to start back up again. You know, I wish we could afford both, but we can't. So we have to make maybe a compromise.
Well, the other issue comes down to, and that we discussed, just so we're gonna have the same, that Stan wasn't here, but the issue comes down to, you have the political part of it where, okay, we got a sheriff right now that's open to this, but then maybe the next election cycle, we got the next sheriff in here. And that's why I was talking about the contract. If you write a contract, then you gotta make sure that you buffer yourself past the election point if you get a new sheriff, because then it's the same issue as well. So that's what I'm saying, we have to have those discussions, because those are all ramifications if you don't.
We also have the political element where a lot of the people in this town obviously don't like the idea of us getting rid of the police department, although they're hesitant or very unwilling to come to this meeting and tell us so.
Right.
Still, that's something you're gonna have to deal with if you make that decision.
Right.
So we have to think this thing through. I wouldn't vote on it tonight.
Yeah. No, I think we have a special meeting dedicated to it, but I just think that, in all fairness to Brandon too, we cannot keep putting this off. We have to make a decision so that he can.
No, Brandon's gotta go, on with his life, then we have to, and we're not ready, then we're gonna see what we can do about appointing an active police. And if that's possible, but we can't just make a bad decision.
So I think the other thing too, maybe listen, you can kind of maybe structure how you would approach that position so that you know, because now you voice your position that you want to do this, but you also maybe, you have to have some structure to how you would approach that, or whatever, to present to the council as well. Like, how you would approach that as being its chief, and how you would manage it and all those things, because we need to understand what your thought process is, so we can bring that into the table as well, because, it affects us, affects you, affects everybody else in the community, and Rob's right, you gotta have informed decisions, and all these are tough decisions, there's always a cost, no matter what decision you make,
I gotta say, this is probably gonna be one of the toughest decisions this council's ever had to make. Brandon, didn't you mention, if it wasn't last month, it was a meeting before, that you felt personally there was some sort of training that was likely to come down the pike as a result of Ferguson and all that stuff?
I think that more goes back to the training, the hiring standards.
Okay.
It's kind of what I was more.
So that's how they're gonna interwoven that with that?
And that's what I see with the Ohio Collaborative, is the hiring standards is how they're going to, the training as well, but we're reimbursed for the training through the CPT, it's not an unfunded mandate. I think the way that the state is going to attack, these alleged bad shoots and things is stricter hiring standards.
Okay.
And that's where we're gonna have the incurred costs.
But we really don't know exactly what
No.
they're gonna do.
Nope.
Okay.
And
But
this
we
is
know
just,
they're
this is just my
probably
opinion from
so.
what I've seen and heard from, the meetings of Ohio Collaborative and some of the paperwork that we've been getting, that these things are possibly coming down the pipeline.
So that's a possible, that's not
Yes.
something that's been way heavily on our decision making at this
Absolutely.
point at all.
At this point, I don't think it, per se, is a grave decision if you decide to keep them. There's not gonna be any incurred cost, but in the future it could. So I just wanna make sure you guys are aware of the whole picture.
That
But that
could
decision
hit
can
the
be
sheriff
made.
department, they could say that we need some more money in
Right.
that case
Right,
too.
what are
So
you gonna
don't
do?
know
Well,
what's
if
gonna
it
happen.
affects us, it's gonna affect them, right?
So-
I mean, whatever occurs down the line is gonna affect them as well, so it's gonna be an incurred cost to them. So they're gonna have to offset that cost. And the other issue you always have is that, what happens to the state budget will kind of, other money might come into the communities or whatever, that could be cut off or whatever, and then those things can change from election cycle as well, that we can't anticipate, so I guess we gotta deal with the facts we got right now and try to make a good, like I said, I'm open, but I think we need to have a dedicated meeting.
Well, why don't we just do a special meeting?
I agree.
Wanna do it this month?
I think we need to do
Or
this.
we need to do it as soon as we
week,
can,
yeah.
so we don't keep dragging it out,
Right.
dragging it out.
I mean, I think we got a couple of directions, we just gotta figure out how we're gonna handle it, and then look, like I said, we look at the cost, but that's just that's a part of it, it's not the whole thing, so we gotta look at all those things together.
I mean, the cost is not a deciding factor, because we already budgeted for what
Right.
we're paying.
Right.
And we're talking about potential savings, not cost, really.
Right.
We gotta decide what's long-term best for the,
I think that's extremely important, what's best for the community. Last night, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way WTOL spun it last night, they said Ohio is the #1 state in the union for heroin trafficking and consumption. And they said Northwest Ohio ranks right up there.
We are
Being
number
on
one.
state right 12,
We
it's
definitely
coming.
keep busy, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
But the issue is that we got, like, it goes back to Rob's point though, I mean, I understand what you're saying, we gotta make sure that we're not putting these people out of the way because of those stupid things, because those people are very unknown and, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, we don't want to get hurt here, that's not the goal here, right?
No, but, you know, when we went to the academy, he knew what we were getting into. He understands the risks that are involved and really takes Yeah.
that's well and fine, Melissa, but anything happens to you, that's on us. Okay, and the best way to deal with it, well, let's just make an assumption you're staying in place, and nothing's changing. The best way to mitigate that risk is through training of you
Correct.
and your officers. So that's one of the things we have to look at when we make this decision. Are we gonna adequately train our officers so if the unlikely event that this happens, which is getting more likely every day, we can mitigate that harm? That's what I wanna see.
And maybe tighter communication or tighter interaction with the sheriff's department. I don't know if that's an option, but maybe better and more coordination. And Brandon could shed light on that. If we go the route of our own department, from your experience, do you think we could is the possibility there that we can even more so have interaction with the sheriff's department? So at a moment's notice, you know, if there's a big problem,
I think right now we have really good.
do we? See, I don't
know
have
that
any
the officers
idea.
have good interaction with the sheriff's office. I think the issue becomes.
And the state troopers and, you know, the whole.
Yeah, I think as a department, we have a good relationship with all other law enforcement agencies.
Because if
I
you
think
need
the
help,
biggest part
you
is
need
just
quick.
having, you know, them having their low manpower, and then us being a part-time department, you know, getting called in for times that no one is here.
Yeah.
Didn't we speak about at the last meeting, that and we just touched on it, the opportunity may exist where we keep on a chief of police, and that can act as a liaison with the county and
Right.
state.
I think the only problem there is the sheriff would have ultimate say. There would be no kind of disciplinary or anything, so I don't know that it would be beneficial at that point to have just one, you know, chief and no Indians, I guess.
Right.
Like that, does that sound? Because, you know, the sheriff's department has their policies and, which are probably different than our policies, and, you know, if there were any kind of issues, of course, we could voice our concern, but ultimately the sheriff would have his say and we would have no recourse. We'd be more of like a coordinator more than anything else, so. And in my opinion, I don't think that's an option.
So I have a
for you
question,
guys.
when you bring, say we have an incident in town, say you post somebody that drugs or whatever, and you bring the state highway patrol in or the sheriff, who has jurisdiction, who's the one in control at that point? Are the people, our department, or, I don't know who has the power, I mean, who takes control?
It all depends, I guess. It all depends on who.
It's on the state route would be patrol, right, you suppose they would
It's
say.
really whose ever initial call it is, I guess. It could be handed off to, the highway patrol has no jurisdiction on private property, period.
Yeah.
The only jurisdiction they have is on the roadway.
Yeah.
And if it was their stop, it would be theirs, just like if we stopped a car and, you know, had a bunch of drugs in it. If it's our stop, it's our stop. Now, we could give it to them or give it to the county, but I mean, that's probably not gonna happen unless it was beyond our means.
Well, these are all things that we have to talk
Right.
about, especially.
Right.
So I think,
It's more of like a joint, you know, jurisdiction thing. It depends if the county comes out and handles a call, they can either handle it, or they can just take the initial and then we can investigate, or vice versa. So it's like you say, we do kind of work together being dual like this. You know, the county comes and we'll take initial calls, and then once the officer either gets on duty, if it's not an emergency, we'll investigate. If no one's available and it's an emergency, the county then will take the steps to arrest or do whatever they have to do.
Okay, so if we pulled somebody over like that and they had you know, drugs and whatever. Who gets the money? Us?
Well, that, us, and then depending on how it was done,
I mean, or
the
would they come in
prosecutor's
and just
office.
swoop up all the stuff, we do all the work and they would
No,
get
no,
the
no.
spoils? Yeah.
Once it would be ours, then we would have it, the county prosecutor, once it would prosecuted, the forfeitures and everything, they would get a cut of that, obviously for handling the case, but yeah, that would be ours.
I'll keep my eye out.
I think we could pull some of the other canvas,
Joyce, what
county seats or
kind of
cash and put it in the general fund.
You wanna be deputized?
Another question I have, and maybe, I'm not sure, if she's interested, should she go ahead and petition, either putting her resume and her, something into, so we have something on the table, saying that she's interested or whatever, so we do have a decision, we got something there in black and white? Is that something she should?
Well,
or not?
we really haven't requested anything yet, because
Well, that's what I'm
we're
saying,
still trying to
should we-
decide what we're gonna do, but once we decide that, then of course, we
I
have
guess,
to put.
I just wanna say, I mean, we want an official commitment that's something she wants to do on the table, is what I'm getting at.
Oh.
You know, so that we can discuss it, and then as we were talking about it, that we have something, okay, she is serious about it, you know, I'm getting at.
And she's qualified.
You know,
I think if there's gonna be an official commitment from her, there should be an official announcement that we're accepting
Yes.
applications.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I was- Because I know that I've recently heard there's other people interested as well.
Yeah, we have some already, but we didn't put nothing
But
out
it was my
ourselves.
understanding you were gonna either decide we're doing it or we're not doing it before accepting applications, because accepting
Well, that's
applications
what I'm
and
asking right now.
deciding the latter, you know, it's kind of.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking this question, because that's what we discussed, and that's why I'm getting at this thing, because we discussed that. Because then, you know, if we accept, you know, resumes and applications, then we have to do the whole vetting process, is that what we wanna do? I mean, that's
Kind of
the
touched
issue.
on it, because, Rick, is there a difference between somebody just dropping out their resume and somebody making an application for a job? I mean, there are people that come up and drop back resumes off at us all the time, and we have them. We have them on file, it doesn't mean they're applying for anything.
I guess the other thing is that, I mean, since she's already working for the department, can we promote within, do we have to do, that's what I'm just asking.
What's that?
Can we promote within, because she's already working?
Sure, you're gonna.
Yeah, I don't
You know
see
what I'm saying, I mean, do we have to, you know, that's what I'm asking, so.
Interview in-house
If-
before you go outside.
You would
Yeah.
consider the
That all
people
depends
dropping
on
off
your
the
guys'
resumes the
village
same
policy.
if it's for the
But
job?
what
That's what you're asking.
what Brandon's saying is, we gotta, first off, we gotta make a decision of
Which way
whether,
we're gonna go.
which way we're going.
Right.
Cause we don't want all these resumes coming in and we
Right.
say, oh, no, we're not gonna
That's exactly
take any
right.
because,
Well, I guess my point being is, if we promote within, do we have to
Advertise.
advertise?
That would, I would.
If we're gonna,
That's what I'm getting, that's what I'm getting at, so,
Oh.
does that make sense to you?
can we
I'm just
just
asking that
promote
question.
her to
You,
police
you
chief
can,
rather
you don't
than-
have to advertise, I mean,
If we
she
vote
works
within.
here, we know who she is.
Right.
If you wanna
Certainly
do
we
that,
can
you don't
promote
have to.
within.
All I'm saying is I don't wanna create a firestorm saying, okay, we did something without, you know, throwing that out to everybody and, you know, that's why I'm asking, so.
But we're not required to. Is that what Brandon's saying?
That's my understanding, you're not, I mean, unless you guys have something in some sort of policy that the village has, I don't see what, it would not be against the law to just promote from within and not even open up to anyone.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at, so that
We
gives,
can go back to that, and if she's interested, and ask her if she wants to become the acting police chief. And if it works out, then we can make the job permanent. And then if there's an open spot down the road, we can advertise for that. On a part-time basis.
so those are all things we gotta talk about, I just wanna see what our options are here, throw them on the table, so we can at least have some thought process for the next meeting, so we can kinda think about, okay, what does everybody wanna do?
If it goes that direction, I'm just saying if it does, and we're strongly considering Melissa, are we still talking 20 hours for the chief?
Well, that's all, I think it's all things on the table, but I guess, I mean, is that something that's doable for you?
It is. It's something that I wanna do and it's gonna take a priority and that will, I schedule my scheduling for that.
I heard you mention something about another job. Would you have much trouble making a 20-hour-a-week commitment?
No.
So it's nowadays we got some stuff to think about, I guess now we set up the
We
next
know a
meeting
lot
we
more
have.
than we did last week.
Right, right. So,
And that makes a lot of sense, but I think, in my mind, I've already made a decision. Everybody else think we need another meeting?
well, I think we do.
Yeah,
I think-
Cause I'll tell you what,
there's gonna be more stuff come up as we
you know,
think
we're
about it.
being a little bit chaotic and we're throwing sparks out there.
Yeah, well, we
And it'd be nice to logically lay out pros and cons and look at it and say, okay, now we know exactly what we're talking about. We can live with this, or we can't, and do it that way, rather than make a decision. I mean, right now, at this moment, I know which way I'm leaning,
Me too.
but
Right.
And we're, like I said, we don't wanna rush into anything, but at least now we got the stuff on the table, and like I said, we wanna know what our options are, so we don't create other challenges for us. Like I said, that's why it's important to understand, what can we do, what can we do? You know, and how we, cause you know, no matter what we do, we're gonna be critiqued on it, there's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so.
Okay, let's just set a date for this month, and that'll be, and that's all we're gonna talk about. It'll be a special council meeting, and it'll be police only. How soon do you wanna do it? What,
21st is 2 weeks, the 28th is 3 weeks, the next meeting is 4 weeks away.
I think 2 weeks is give enough time to think, give it a chance to think about it, and
So
maybe.
the 21st?
I mean, it don't have to be on a Tuesday, whatever's better for anybody.
Yeah, I was just
Everybody.
listing Tuesdays, but the
Okay.
20th is President's Day. The 22nd is Washington's birthday. No.
You got President's Day and paid holidays.
Good thing Groundhog Day's over.
I know.
Paid holiday.
But anywho,
Okay, so do you wanna do 21st? Is that okay with everybody? Tuesday night, 21st?
Rick and I won't be here, we're in Newburgh.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yes, thanks, Melissa.
Same time or 6 o'clock?
Okay, so the 21st,
What
Why don't
time?
we do it at, I don't care, 5:30, 6 o'clock? Let's do it early, that way we got
early.
plenty of time.
Really get it over with.
Get it
Yeah.
Let's wait till 6:30 at night.
Can you make it by 6?
By 6,
Yeah.
okay, 6 o'clock?
On which day now?
21st.
21st.
Do you know if you're on or not?
I work all days.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
He got to.
I'll be in New Rico that evening, just so.
Yeah, we'll be in Newburgh, we won't be here.
February.
So they're
busy.
interested too in what you do.
They will certainly do.
but I don't think you guys are making any decisions other than discussing that night anyhow, right?
I would.
I mean, we can make a decision and,
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, you would.
I think we got the data that we need, I think it just.
and I think we got,
I think
that'll give
right.
everybody enough time to rethink things and write down questions that they have to wanna ask and so forth, or bring out on the table and do it that way.
Yeah, we gotta have a direction, cause we gotta be honest, we gotta.
We gotta quit talking about it and just do one or the other.
Yeah, move forward.
For what it's worth, if I were to draw a line down the middle of the page, so far, I have not seen, for me, many pluses in the sheriff's department for 55. I don't see too many pluses in that column. I'm leaning the other way, I'm just throwing that out.
Well, we need to sleep on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's all kinds of things that can come
All
up.
kinds of things.
Because I had coming in this meeting, I had a lot of pluses. Both ways.
Okay, well, let's move on so we don't hear all
Yeah, I already missed my show.
Exactly right.
Does anybody have anything else under old
Tired
business?
of them out here.